Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! I'm a 45-year-old engineer living in a quiet suburb with my wife and our two kids. We've always been a close-knit family. My story begins when my wife's aunt decided to celebrate her 70th birthday in a way that touched all our hearts. This aunt has always been a remarkable woman. After her husband passed away, she sold their home in the San Francisco Bay Area for over $1 million and moved back to her roots in Southern California. Despite her newfound wealth, she continued to live frugally, always putting others before herself. This aunt had 3 children, 14 nieces and nephews, and over 40 grandnieces and grandnephews. To celebrate her milestone birthday, she decided to do something extraordinary for all of us. One morning, we received an envelope in the mail. Inside was a check for $1,000 and a heartfelt, personalized note from her. My wife tells me, "Look at this. My aunt sent us a check for her birthday." "What? Let me see that." I read the note out loud. "My dearest niece and her husband, as I celebrate my 70th birthday, I can't help but reflect on the joy that all of you bring to my life. Please accept this gift as a token of my love. Do something fun with it. Don't use it for bells. Love always. Your aunt." My wife says, "This is so generous of her. We should call and thank her." Absolutely. I wonder if she sent something to the kids too. As it turned out, my wife's aunt had indeed sent checks to our children as well, $500 each. We later found out that she had done the same for all her nieces, nephews, grandnieces, and grandnephews. It was a gesture that touched everyone deeply. That weekend, we had a family barbecue and our kids came over. The conversation naturally turned to the aunt's generosity. Our daughter says, "Mom, Dad, did you get something from great aunt too?" "We did, honey. Wasn't it incredibly sweet of her? I can't believe she sent money to all of us. What are you guys planning to do with yours?" I say, "Well, she specifically said to do something fun with it. Your mom and I are thinking about taking a weekend trip to the coast. What about you two?" Daughter says, "I'm saving up for a new camera. This'll help me get it sooner. I might use mine for concert tickets. There's this band I've been dying to see live." We spent the rest of the evening sharing our plans and reminiscing about the good times we've had with my wife's aunt. It was exactly the kind of happy conversation I'm sure she had hoped to inspire with her gifts. However, our joy was short-lived. A few days later, an email arrived that would throw our family into turmoil. It was from the aunt's youngest daughter. Now, I should explain a bit about this cousin of my wife's. She's always been different from the rest of the family. While the aunt's other 2 children are kind and level-headed, this one has always been self-centered and demanding. She's in her late 40s now, but she still acts like a spoiled teenager at times. I remember the first time I met her at a family reunion shortly after my wife and I got married. She spent the entire event complaining about how her mother wouldn't buy her a new car, despite the fact that she was well into her 30s and employed. It was uncomfortable to say the least. Over the years, her behavior has only gotten worse. She's become obsessed with her mother's finances, constantly prying into her bank statements and investment portfolios. She even berated her mother for taking a trip to New York City last Christmas, a lifelong dream of the aunt's. But this email, this was a new low even for her. My wife tells me, "You need to see this email from my cousin." I looked over her shoulder as she opened the message on her laptop. The subject line read, "Urgent, concerning my mother's recent actions." The email started with a shocking claim. "Dear family, I regret to inform you that our beloved mother/aunt is suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's disease. Her recent actions, including the distribution of large sums of money, are clear signs of her declining mental state." My wife and I exchanged worried looks. This was the first time we'd heard of any such diagnosis. The email continued, "In light of this unfortunate development, I kindly request that all the recipients of her recent monetary gifts forward the funds to me instead of returning them to her directly. I will ensure that the money is properly managed and accounted for, to avoid burdening her with such taxing matters in her fragile condition. Please send all the checks to the following address. Then she wrote her address. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation in this difficult time. Best regards, cousin's name. My wife says, this can't be right. My aunt seemed perfectly fine when we spoke to her last week. I agree, something doesn't add up here. I am going to call her right now. My wife dialed her aunt's number, and I could hear the conversation. Aunt, it's me. How are you feeling? Dear, I am doing wonderfully. What a pleasant surprise to hear from you. I'm glad to hear that. Listen, we just received an email from your daughter saying that you've been diagnosed with dementia and Alzheimer's. Is this true? What? Absolutely not. I haven't been diagnosed with any of that sort. What on earth is she talking about? She is asking everyone to send the birthday money you gave us to her instead of you. She says she'll manage it all. Oh, for heaven's sake. That girl, I'm so sorry. I'll deal with this right away. Please keep the money and enjoy it as I intended. And let the others know too, will you? Of course, Aunt. I'm just relieved that you're okay. After my wife hung up, we sat in stunned silence for a moment. I can't believe your cousin would do something like this. Unfortunately, I can. Remember when she borrowed money from my aunt's account without asking? I doubt she had any intention of returning this money either. We spent the next hour calling other family members to let them know the truth. Most were as shocked and appalled as we were. A few, however, had already sent their checks to the cousin. The next day, we received another email, this time from my wife's aunt herself. My dear family, it has come to my attention that some misleading information has been circulated about my health and my recent gifts to you all. I want to assure you that I'm in perfect health, both mentally and physically. The gifts I sent were given with a clear mind and an open heart. I am deeply saddened that my daughter has attempted to deceive you all. Rest assured, I will be addressing this matter with her directly. Please don't send any money to her. If you have already done so, please contact me and I will help you recover it. Enjoy your gifts as I intended, to bring a little extra joy into your lives. Your happiness is the best birthday present I could ask for. Love, your aunt. In the weeks that followed, my wife's aunt, with the help of her other children, took steps to protect her assets from her youngest daughter's interference. She set up a trust with her two older children as trustees, ensuring that the youngest could no longer access her finances without oversight. As for the money that had been sent to the cousin, the aunt made her return every penny. Those who had been duped into sending their gifts to her received their money back, along with a personal apology from the aunt. I've always been close with my brother, even though we're 5 years apart. Growing up, we had the usual sibling squabbles, but nothing major. When I was 15, my brother started dating his girlfriend. She moved in with us because of some family issues, and at first I thought it was cool to have another girl around. But things weren't always smooth sailing. His girlfriend, let's call her Karen, seemed to have it out for me from the start. Whenever my brother and I had our typical arguments over stuff like who got to use the Xbox or who ate the last cookie, she'd always take his side. I tried not to let it bother me too much. I figured she was just trying to impress him or something. So as we got older, I hoped things would improve between Karen and me. I went off to college and we didn't see each other as often. When we did, I always made an effort to be friendly, even when she'd make snarky comments. I told myself she was probably just insecure or something. Now I'm 23 and just finished college. I was excited to come home and celebrate my birthday with everyone. The night before my party, we had a family dinner. My brother brought up this funny memory from when we were kids. Remember that time we had a joint birthday party and you got mad because I pulled out the candles before you? Oh yeah, I was what, 8? Yep, and you got so annoyed you wiped the cake on my nose. We all laughed about it. It's actually a cute memory. There is even a picture of it in our parents' living room. Everyone thought it was funny except Karen. She just sat there with this weird look on her face. The next night was my birthday party. All my friends and family were there, including my brother and Karen. After I pulled out the candles, things took a really ugly turn. Suddenly, I felt someone grab a fistful of my hair and tried to shove my face into the cake. I struggled to stand up straight as they pulled hard on my hair. People started yelling, "Stop it! What are you doing? My mom yells. Brother adds, Karen, let go of her. I realized it was Karen trying to push my face into the cake. My mom tried to pull her off me, but Karen shoved her away. Then she grabbed the back of my neck and used her weight to push me down. Her nails dug into my skin. I could feel them breaking the skin. Ow, stop it. Karen, that's enough. I was in pain and getting really frustrated. I turned around and punched Karen as hard as I could. She fell backward, started crying, and ran out of the room. Everyone went quiet. My brother looked shocked. He says, I'm so sorry. I don't know why she did that. My mom says, if that was supposed to be a joke, it went way too far. Dad adds, there are skewers in that cake to keep it upright. She could have really hurt you. My best friend got me a cloth to wipe the blood off my neck where Karen's nail had dug in. My parents made everyone leave and my brother went home too. Later that night, I got a text from Karen. I am going to sue you and press charges. You can't take a joke. I was just getting payback for your brother. I sent a screenshot to my brother. What the hell? That was his reaction. Around midnight, my brother showed up at our parents' house looking really upset. He and Karen had been together for over a decade, and I felt awful. Had I ruined everything? The next morning, my brother and I were eating leftover cake. He smudged a little on my nose, saying he was getting even for the childhood incident, but I could tell he was still really sad. I say, I am so sorry about all this. I feel like I ruined everything. You didn't ruin anything. Karen did. But you guys have been together so long. That doesn't excuse what she did. She could have seriously hurt you. She keeps texting me saying I ruined your relationship over a joke. Well, it wasn't a joke. It was assault. I've been thinking about this all night, and I realized this isn't the first time she'd done something like this. What do you mean? Remember all those times she'd side with me in our arguments? I thought she was just being supportive, but now I see she was trying to drive a wedge between us. And there have been other incidents with friends and co-workers that I brushed off. So, what are you going to do? I'm breaking up with her. I already packed up my stuff and moved it to a friend's place. Are you sure? I don't want you to do this because of me. It's not because of you. It's because of her. What she did was unacceptable, and it made me realize a lot of things about our relationship. Just then, my phone buzzed with another text from Karen. You're going to regret this. I am going to make your life hell. I showed it to my brother. That's it. I am calling the police. What? Why? She assaulted you, she's threatening you, and she's talking about pressing charges. We need to get ahead of this. So that's what we did. We called the police and filed a report. We showed them the scratches on my neck, the texts from Karen, and gave statements about what happened at the party. Several of our friends and family members who were there also gave statements. A few days later, Karen was arrested for assault and harassment. Turns out she had a history of this kind of behavior that my brother didn't know about. There were complaints from former co-workers and even a restraining order from an ex-boyfriend. In the end, Karen pleaded guilty to avoid a trial. She got community service and mandatory anger management classes. She also had to pay for my medical bills for the scratches on my neck. My brother and I have gotten even closer through all of this. He's been going to therapy to work through everything that happened in his relationship with Karen. As for me, I've learned that it's important to stand up for yourself even against family. Last week, we had another family dinner. My brother brought up the cake incident again, but this time with a different perspective. He says, I'm glad you wiped that cake on my nose when we were kids. It was just a bit of harmless fun between siblings. That's how it should be. I answer, yeah, and now we have two cake memories. One funny, one not so much. Well, the second one had a good ending. It brought us closer together. We all laughed and enjoyed our meal. In the end, if anyone ever tries to shove my face in a cake again, well, let's just say I've been taking self-defense classes. Not that I needed them in the first place. I've been working for this drilling company for over 40 years now. Started when I was just a young buck, fresh out of high school. Never thought I'd still be here at 81, and I love what I do. It keeps me sharp. My daddy taught me the value of hard work. He was a farmer, worked the land from sun up to sundown, and I grew up watching him, learning from him. When I got my first job at the oil fields, it felt natural. The long hours, the physical labor, satisfaction of a job well done, it was in my blood. Over the years, I've seen a lot of changes in the industry. New technologies, safety regulations, you name it. But I've always kept up. Never missed a day of work unless I was too sick to stand. Even then, I'd be itching to get back out there. My wife, God rest her soul, used to tell me I was married to my job. Maybe she was right, but after she passed, work became even more important. It gave me purpose, kept me going when I thought I couldn't. So when I started feeling a bit off a few weeks back, I didn't think much of it. Figured it was just a Texas heat getting to me. But my daughter insisted I see the doctor. The doctor says, "Sir, I'm afraid you're in atrial fibrillation. We need to get you to the hospital right away." Atrial what now? Doc, I've got work tomorrow. Can this wait? I'm sorry, but this is serious. We need to monitor you and possibly implant a pacemaker. Well, that sure threw a wrench in my plans. I spent a few days in the hospital, and they did end up putting in that pacemaker. The company called to check on me, which was nice of them. Company rep, "Hey there, sir. We heard about your hospital stay. How about using your 2-week vacation while you recover?" Well, I suppose that makes sense. Alright then. I figured I'd be back to work in no time. The doctor said I was doing great and I'll be fully cleared in my 4-week checkup. But then last week I got a call from the owner of the drilling company. The owner says, "Hello, sir. How are you feeling?" "Oh, I'm doing just fine. Ready to get back to work soon." "About that, we've been thinking and we believe it's time for you to enjoy your retirement." "Retirement? But I haven't retired." "We think it's for the best. You've given so much to this company and at your age, with your health concerns." "Now hold on a minute. My doctor says I'll be cleared to work. I am not ready to retire." "I'm sorry, but we've made our decision. We're releasing you from your position. Enjoy your retirement, sir." And just like that, 40 years of dedication went up in smoke. I was stunned, angry, and hurt. They didn't even have the decency to do it face to face. Just a phone call, like I was nothing more than a number on a spreadsheet. I called my daughter right after. She was furious. "Can't do this, can they? I didn't quit, I didn't retire. They can't just push me out because I'm old." Daughter says, "Dad, this isn't right. We need to fight this. You've given everything to that company." "I don't know, sweetie. Maybe they are right. Maybe it's time." "No, Dad. If you're not ready to retire, that's your choice, not theirs. We're going to look into your rights." So here I am, 81 years old, with a brand new pacemaker and a pink slip I never asked for. I've got a 401k, sure, but that's not the point. It's about respect. It's about the right to choose when I'm done. I've been thinking about what to do next. Part of me wants to just accept it right off into the sunset like they want, but another part, the part that's been drilling for 4 decades, that part isn't ready to quit. I decided to reach out to a lawyer, see what my options are. Turns out they might have violated age discrimination laws. The lawyer seemed pretty fired up about it. "Sir, what they've done is illegal. You have every right to fight this." "Listen, I don't want to cause trouble. I've known these people for years. They didn't seem to mind causing you trouble. Earn the right to decide when you retire, not them." So we filed a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. It felt strange going up against a company I've been loyal to for so long, but it felt right too. Word got around fast in our small town. Some folks from the company reached out off the record. Coworker says, "We're behind you, old timer. What they did ain't right." It meant a lot knowing I had support. The local news even picked up the story. 81-year-old oil worker fights forced retirement. Didn't expect to be making headlines at my age. A week later, I got another call from the owner. "Sir, we've reconsidered our position. We'd like to offer you your job back if you're interested." "Oh, what changed your mind?" "We realize now that we acted hastily. Your experience is valuable to us. I appreciate that, but I'm going to need some time to think about it." I hung up feeling conflicted. On one hand, I wanted my job back. On the other, the trust was broken. Could I go back to a place that tried to push me out? I talked it over with my daughter and a lawyer. We decided to negotiate. If they wanted me back, it would be on my terms. In the end, we reached an agreement. I'd go back, but with reduced hours and a consultant title. I'd train the younger workers, sharing my decades of experience, and most importantly, I'd retire when I was good and ready, not a day sooner. As I walked back onto the job site, I felt a sense of victory, not just for me, but for every older worker who's been pushed aside. At 81, I'm still not ready to hang up my hard hat. And now, thanks to standing up for myself, I don't have to. I've got oil in my veins and work to do. Retirement can wait.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.